Dear students, welcome to our YouTube channel Vidya for Success. In this video, let us continue our study on the structural organization in animals. Yes, children, so far in this lesson, we have completed the anatomical study of earthworm. So we came to know that how the digestive system is there, how the digestion takes place in earthworm, then how the excretion takes place, and what kind of reproductive system is there in the earthworm. So all this detailed information we studied about the earthworm, right? So now it is time to move on to the study of one more organism, that is frog. So frog is a very well known organism, right? So it is called as amphibian because it can live on the land and also it can survive in water. So because of this nature, a frog is called as amphibian. So this organism is actually belong to the phylum Chordata. Clear? So it consists of notochord, so that this organism is belong to the phylum Chordata, and the class of the frog is Amphibia. So Amphibia is the class to which the frog is placed. Clear? So the most commonly known species of frog found in India is Rana tigrina. So this is very important. So the commonly well-known species of frog found in India is Rana tigrina. So now in this class we are going to study about the Rana tigrina. Clear? And frog do not have a constant body temperature. So if you take the human body, so we have constant body temperature. That means when the extreme hot is there outside, our temperature, our body temperature does not get increases according to that, right? But if you take frog, they do not have constant body temperature, so their body temperature will get changes frequently according to the external environment. Say for example, the temperature is very high outside, so with respect to that, the frog body temperature is also get changes. Clear? So because of this, the frog is called as cold blooded animal. So cold blooded animal uh, does not maintain a constant body temperature. So their body temperature changes according to the outer temperature. So if the outer temperature is more, their body temperature is also get increases. If the temperature outside is less, their body temperature is also get decreases, right? So this kind of fluctuation is there in the body temperature of frog, so that it is called as cold blooded animal. Then frog can show camouflage. So camouflage is one of the ability of frog. So you might have seen when the frog is there on the surface of grass, it appears green, somewhat green in color, and when it is there on the land, with respect to the color of land, it will get changes its body color, right? So this ability of changing the body color with respect to the uh, place where it is there, that is called as camouflage. So camouflage actually help the frog to protect itself, to hide itself from the predator, so that it can easily escape from the predator with this property. Clear? So frog exhibit camouflage, so because of this it can hide in the environment, um, so without getting catched by the enemies. Then frog undergo summer sleep and winter sleep. So this is commonly seen in frog. As I told you, frog cannot maintain a constant body temperature. So when the external temperature is very high, its body temperature is also get increases. so that it can't survive in such a condition. So um, in extremes of temperature, when in the summer, in the peak summer, the frog undergo sleeping. So that sleep is called as summer sleep. Clear? It is also called as estivation. So in order to survive in the extremes of temperature, especially in case of peak summer, it makes burrows in the soil and it hide itself. Clear? So that summer sleep is called as estivation. And frog also undergo sleeping in the winter season. So in the winter season we know extreme cold will be there outside, so that in order to survive in the winter, it undergo winter sleep. Clear? So the winter sleep is called as hibernation. So these two characteristic feature commonly seen in the frog in extremes of temperature. So in extreme summer, in peak summer, it can't survive, so that it will undergo summer sleep. And in extreme winter also it can't survive, so that it undergo hibernation, that means winter sleep. Clear? So that in extreme summer and in winter we can't see the frog outside. Clear? Because they undergo summer sleep and winter sleep to protect themselves from the external changing temperature. Yes, now we have studied about the general characteristic feature of frog. Yes, now let us understand the few more things about this organism. So it is time to study about the morphological characteristic feature. So morphology is nothing but the external characteristic feature. So how this organism appears, what are the body parts are there in this organism. So these are external characteristics when we are studying, that is called as a morphology, right? So the outermost surface of the frog is very smooth and slippery. So the frog's skin is smooth and slippery due to the presence of mucus. So mucus is present on the surface of skin. So because of this, its skin is very smooth and slippery. So there are some glands are present. Those glands secrete some of the fluid. That fluid is called as mucus. Have you ever touched the skin of a frog? So if you have touched the skin, you may understand the nature of this organism, that means the nature of skin. So skin is very smooth and slippery because it consists of mucus on the surface, right? And the color of the skin on the dorsal side is generally olive green with dark irregular spots. So especially here we are talking about the Rana tigrina. So the Rana tigrina consists of olive green color on the dorsal surface. So dorsal surface is nothing but the back side of the frog, right? So the dorsal side is generally olive green in color with dark irregular spots. So we can see dark irregular spots on the dorsal surface. Then if you look into the ventral side, it is pale yellow in color. Ventral side is nothing but the towards the belly region. So the ventral side of the frog is pale yellow in color. So by this color variation, we can differentiate which one is the body dorsal side and which one is the ventral side. So ventral side is usually pale yellow in color, and dorsal side is olive green with dark irregular spots, right? And frog never drinks water and it absorbs it through the body surface. So this is one pretty interesting thing, right? So because we know that frog is an amphibian, it survive in water also. So we thought usually like frog drinks water, but that is not true. So frog never drinks water. Instead of that, it absorb it through the body surface. So body surface uh, is always moist and it is always wet, and it helps in the absorption of water from outside. So because of this, it never drink water, right? So instead of that, what it will do, it will just absorb it through the body surface. Then how many body parts are present in the frog? So frog body is basically divided into head and trunk. So it does not consist of neck and tail region. Neck and tail is completely absent in the frog. So instead of that, its body is divided into two basic parts, head, and head is followed by trunk. Then mouth is located on the anterior region of the frog. You can notice in the diagram. So the anterior region, the tip of the anterior region consists of a mouth. So mouth is very wide and it encloses long tongue. So tongue is actually enclosed within the broad and wide mouth, and just above the mouth we can see a pair of nostril. So a nostril is present on the surface of the mouth. These are present just above the mouth. So pair of nostrils will be located above the mouth. So what is the function of a nostril? So nostril sometimes help in exchanging respiratory gases, right? So when it is on the land, sometime it exchange the respiratory gases through nostril. Then it consists of a pair of eyes. So the eyes are bulged and consist of nictitating membrane that protects them when in water. So it is quite interesting thing because we know frog is an amphibia. So because it is an amphibia, it is showing some of the external features. Those features help the organism to survive in water, right? So eyes are bulged and that eyes consist of one of the membrane called as nictitating membrane. So nictitating membrane is actually very transparent and that protects the eyeball when the frog in water. So that when it is in water, the eyeballs are completely get closed by this transparent nictitating membrane so that water cannot move into the eyes. So this is one character what we can see in the frog. It helps to survive in water. Then it consists of a tympanum. So tympanum represents ear. So tympanum is nothing but it is just a membranous structure. So on either side of the eyes, it consists of a membranous structure called as tympanum. So this tympanum receives sound signals from outside. So because of this, it always represents ear. It does not consist of external ear pinna like us. So the membranous structure what is present just uh, on the outer surface of this organism, just on either side of the eyes, they helps to receive the sound signals from outside. So tympanum represents ear in frog. Then if you come to the region of trunk, we can see two pairs of limbs. So the first pairs of limbs are called as forelimbs and second pairs of limbs are called as hind limbs. So the forelimb and hind limb help in swimming, walking and burrowing. So these are the different activities performed by two pairs of limbs. So these limbs helps in swimming, walking and to make burrows in the soil, right? So the forelimb ends with 4 digits. So we have 5 digits in our hand, 5 fingers, but in the frog, the forelimb consists of 4 digits and hind limb ends with 5 digits. Clear? So carefully observe here. The forelimb, that means the first pair of legs, consists of 4 digits and the second pair of legs, that means the hind limb, consists of 5 digits. And the feet have webbed digits for swimming. So we have seen the frog that is swimming in water, right? So in order to swim in water, the forelimbs, that means the feet region, consist of webbed digits. So digits are interconnected with one another, uh, just like a web. Clear? So the feet have web digits for swimming. So it helps the organism to swim in water. So this is one modification of the frog to survive in water, right? And frog exhibits sexual dimorphism. That means we can clearly distinguish the male and female frog. So male frog consists of vocal sacs. So vocal sac, uh, because of this vocal sac, the male frog produces some kind of sound. So cracky sound. You might have know about this cracky sound coming from the male frog. So in order to produce the sound, the male frog consists of vocal sacs, and one more character is it consists of copulatory pad on the first digit of forelimb. So this copulatory pad help the organism during the time of copulation. That means when it mate with the female animal, it uses its copulatory pad, right? So these characters are unique in the female frog, and these characters are not present in the female frog, right? So that is why it is called as sexual dimorphism. So male frog can be easily distinguished because of the presence of vocal sac and copulatory pad on the first digit of forelimb. So these are the few external characteristic features of frog, right? So you have to practice the diagram what I have given on the screen. You have to practice this, and with that you have to learn the characteristic features, right? Thank you.